Bull or bear? I'm rolling an 1890cc Carson City for those of you that are not familiar with rare coins. Morgan dollar, and she comes up a bear. Good afternoon, I guess. Good afternoon, folks. What's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. 80 degrees here, getting into our warmer summertime. Well, we only have two seasons here. Hot and less hot, pretty much. Well, we do have our cool month occasionally here. And boy, quiet at the beach there. Watching this little young lady out here surfing. I think she caught her very first wave. I saw her stand up on it. I hope all of you are out there enjoying whatever you're going to do this weekend. I'm going to an autocross tomorrow, but I'm not here to talk about whether autocross is or this young lady learning how to surf right here. We're here to talk about precious metals. And let's do that actually here. Let me move into the next window. Let's take a look at what spot prices are. You know, since I last talked to you, we were hovering in that 24, high 23, low 24, mid 24 range. We've recently this week kicked up into the $25 plus range, which is good. You know, but here's what I've seen in the past. It seems like in the past, during this time of year, when we have seen silver kind of rack up a couple bucks and get above that $25 mark, we've seen it knocked down. Will that happen again? Tough to say, folks. You know, this market is completely in the control of, again, big commercial banks that move these markets up and down. By really, you know, there's some people, we're going to get into that. There's a guy that wrote an article here shortly that believes that people that bring up the manipulation in these gold and silver markets are doing a disservice to the industry because, you know, they're scaring people away from the markets. And I believe that. I really do believe that to some degree. However, you know, to deny that there is manipulation in these markets, to deny that is just, you know, plain dishonest as well. And to not tell people that, yes, you're dealing in a highly manipulative market and, you know, deal with it. You know what I'm saying? It is destructive, you know, or hurting the silver market. Yeah, maybe to some degree again, but I think that it's really, you know, once people understand how this market is rigged and who the players are and how it's done, it's like sitting down at a rigged card game. If you know who the cheating players are and you know how they do it, you are at a distinct advantage at that table. Now, are you going to beat the cheaters? No, I don't know, probably not, but I think through attrition you will win, and that's kind of what we got going on with the silver markets. I'm confident in telling people that these markets are rigged. I'm also confident in telling people that almost everything in their life is rigged from day one, from the day you're born. Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, whatever it may be. You've been lied to from your government for forever. We all have. We all know this. We've been lied to from the media. We've been lied to by our parents. We've been, you know... lie, well, maybe white lies or whatever you want to call it, but markets are rigged, and that's not a lie, you know what I'm saying? And it's not just the silver and gold markets, probably markets across the board. And the reason that people that buy and sell products don't want you to know that, you know, people don't want you to know that this particular market's rigged. A lot of people will get turned off by that. However, you know, again, complete disclosure, these markets are rigged. Silver and gold markets are rigged. It's just a fact. Platinum, I'm sure, palladium as well. And are other markets rigged in our life, like the oil markets, all the other commodities markets? Are they rigged? I'm sure they are, folks. You know, it's like elections. We all know it. We just don't want to admit it, okay? Especially, again, the people that profit from that. But I'm going to get into that article a little bit. Nice to see silver above that $25 mark. Platinum, poor platinum is like the redheaded stepchild of metals. It's just beaten down, hasn't gotten up since then, really. But you know, we were in that low $700 range for platinum for a little while at the real lows. That was the blood and street lows, in my opinion. And we've kind of hovered off in this $900 range. Platinum, I think, is just super cheap. But again, not a lot of buyers in platinum. It's like palladium. Very few retail institutional buyers. Most of the buyer investment type buyers. Most of the buyers probably out there are industry, all right? And I'm sure there's a lot of institutional meddling as well with these metals, just like there is with silver. But again, nice to see silver at this $25 mark. So gold almost touched that $2,200 mark. I mean, what was it, $21.99 intraday trading at one point, or $21.98, backed off a little bit. What's the gold to silver ratio? Let me take a look real quick, because I haven't. It's probably closer to 87 to 1 or something, but let's take a look. 2,155.96 divided by 25.21.
The answer is approximately 85.52.
Okay, there we go. Something that I've said before when we were at that nearing that $2,200 mark, and silver was still sitting down that lower 24 to mid 24 as we were at that 87 to 1, 89 to 1. So that ratio has tightened up. And again, the result of gold coming down a little bit more than silver hasn't made this dramatic, huge climb. I mean, where are we at right now? A little bit over where we've been over the last couple of years, not much. But again, I'm kind of encouraged not to see silver get whacked down at this $25 mark. Maybe we're getting ready to set up at a new level, but we'll see. And it all has to do, again, with what the big commercial shorts do in silver. Whether they jump in, short the market, spoof the market, manipulate the market. I know. And like I said, I understand how that could turn off new people. But again, think of it if you are a card player. Like I've been telling you, if you're a card player at the table, you know who the cheaters are, you know how they do it. You may not win the game. It's hard to beat the cheaters. They've got a big distinct advantage there. However, you can play the game and make money. And when the cheaters finally screw themselves somehow, and they all do, they always will, you are at a big advantage to make a big play on a big hand. That's just my opinion, of course, and I'm sticking with it. And I'm no great card player either, so don't listen to me. If it comes to cards, definitely don't listen to me. And you can make that decision too when it comes to my advice on silver and gold and platinum. You can choose not to listen to me. I mean, I'm not 100% sure that I'm always right, but I'm confident that I listen to the right people. It's not always what you know, it's who you know. And I have to admit, I know some of you tell me I have a man crush on Ted Butler, but Ted Butler has been a great source of information to me for years, has helped me understand the silver market, and has made me a lot of money in the silver market as well. Understanding, again, like understanding when you're sitting at a table full of cheaters, understanding how to play this game better. And that's what I've hoped to relay to you guys, okay? Not to be afraid of this market, but understand it and understand, why and how and who. Meanwhile, we'll beat that. We'll beat that topic up a lot, and we do all the time anyways. And here's the article I was just kind of reading. It's Big Banks Just Reclaimed GLD and SLV Metals. Interesting, authored by Bob Coleman. And give me 1 second to take a sip here. I'm going to read this over real quick and kind of just quickly. I'm not going to go over everything, but Bob Coleman says he's seeing many questions asking why and how the gold and silver ETFs can be seeing mass attrition in assets with their funds, while at the same time the price of metals are moving higher. Great question, and this question has not gone unanswered. In fact, Ted Butler has done a great job answering, and one of the first guys to point up this divergence between spot prices and where metals were and why the ETFs were getting smaller, the attrition in the assets that they have. And Ted Butler's assessment, as you know, I've been talking about this with you for a little while now, has been that the ETFs have been a target of entities looking for real physical silver because, as you know, the ETFs are required to have real physical silver on hand. And when you get into times when there's a shortage, you have to have a backup plan where to get silver from, especially if it's immediately needed. And Mr. Butler believes that a large volume of this silver, this attrition we've seen in assets in the ETFs, has been a result of withdrawing silver from the ETFs, and more than likely has to do with well, it's tough to say. Speculation, it might have to do with industry. Speculation is investment. That we don't know for sure. But there has been an attrition of assets in the which is totally counterintuitive to what you would think, okay? And I'm going to read along here a little bit more. In fact, we have been seeing the steady decline in shares out, which equates to blah, blah, blah. Okay. There's no doubt numerous central banks have been net buyers of gold, as well as India and China, large net buyers and importers of both gold and silver. This is true. And let me add my little thing in here. You know what Massachusetts' largest export is? The state of Massachusetts' largest export. A lot of you are going to say, well, it's software. It's not. And of course, I'm talking about gold and silver. Those of you wise enough to figure out why I'd bring up Massachusetts and the gold and silver show. Gold is the largest export of Massachusetts, and how and why? Well, they don't produce gold, actually. What they do is refine it, and that's through metal ore, one of the world's largest refiners. So a lot, and where is that metal going when they're talking about export? Well, I looked into that, and almost entirely, most all the export of gold leaving Massachusetts is heading for the east. China, eastern countries like that. So this is an interesting little fun tidbit I'm giving you here as well. But as the Bob says here, central banks have been net buyers of gold, as well as China and India, large net buyers and importers of both gold and silver. And again, I would agree with this. And the reason I agree with this is because there's a guy much smarter than me that has talked about this, Ted Butler, that a lot of this silver could be moving to India, a lot of it's moving to China, a lot of this gold's moving to China as well. And this is probably the result of the outflows that we're seeing. Not to mention probably some industry related as well, possibly. I'm not quite sure. And Bob says here that that'll explain some of the demand why supply is flowing out of London, where the ETF's custody. And let's kind of move along from here because there's something I really want to get to. One has to remember what ETFs are. Okay, interesting article. And Bob's exactly right here. If you really want to understand the nuts and bolts of what's going on, you can read about ETFs. You can read about how COMEX silver short and long positions work and who the players are. You can get more in depth with that. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that a lot of guys that are very experienced in derivatives and markets, like Bob and these guys, are sometimes, and again, this is not meant to be mean or derogatory in any way, because I really respect these guys that understand these markets well, but sometimes I think, even with these guys and the chart guys, is that they can't see the forest through the trees. You know what I'm saying? They're so internally, and there's so many, these are people that are, when you can understand charts like a lot of these guys do, and when you can understand these markets like a lot of these guys do, it's a different thought process, a different type of person. These are people that, they don't look at the overall and say it runs. Oh, look, that car runs. They want to know every internal working part and how it works. And again, sometimes if you get caught up inside the motor, you'll never see the car. So I don't know if that's a great analogy to use, but I kind of believe that. One of my big advantages in life has been, I don't know how or why, but I'm able to kind of step outside things. I am not great at details, but I can step out and see patterns. I see patterns. I see dead people, but I see patterns. I really do. It's just something I've always been able to do. When I'm able to kind of look at the big picture, I'm able to see patterns pretty simple and easy. And then what I can do is go connect the dots and connect those patterns and stuff. But a lot of guys don't really see the big picture in things. However, they are excellent at the details, But when you get caught up in the details, you miss the big picture sometimes. And the big picture can tell you as much truth than the actual details a lot of times in these markets. So I think there's place for both types of thinking in this. Again, I kind of digressed here, but I hope you're kind of following what I'm talking about here. To understand ETF structure, if you want to understand ETF structure, listen to the first 30 minutes of this presentation by Bob Coleman. I think it's very interesting and you'll enjoy it. Some of you, like myself, will find you a hard time wrapping your head around this. Derivatives markets, the ETF markets, and a lot of these markets are very complex and hard to understand by the average Joe. However, it's not rocket science. You can figure it out. If you're not familiar with the word, don't just gloss over it and go buy it. Make sure you stop. Go on Investopedia and look what the word means, because you can't listen to a video where half the words you don't understand, you don't bother to look up, and you don't bother to understand the terms. So that's my advice. If you want to learn that stuff, take your time and do it slowly. Where are we going to go from here? I have done many presentations on market dynamics. Bob says Wall Street structured products, creation of precious metal sectors, securities and derivatives have an unusual relationship when it comes to commodities, especially precious metals. One has to remember that precious metals are a business to professional players, making money off spreads, leverage, leasing, loans, arbitrage, product issuance, and many of the other activities that are just industry practices. Now, to me, it's a giant casino, okay? And COMEX or CME Group is the casino owner. And the casino owner, especially in the commodities, now I don't know if Bob agrees with me, but the casino owner, they make money off every trade, whether it's a crooked trader or a non-crooked. They make money off every trade. Here again, I'm kind of jumping down another rabbit hole, but I was just telling you that in my view is the CME Group derivatives and a lot of these precious metal products that they have, arbitrage and all this stuff, leasing, leveraging, is really just, it's like a giant casino where you have so many different games. It's all gold, but underneath that umbrella in that casino, the CME Group, you have all these different availabilities and all these different ways to do that. And again, that's a whole rabbit hole we'll jump to. God, I got a little sidetracked here. Let me finish off with Bob saying here. However, the collateralization, financialization of the products have resulted in the physical market having a dilutive effect against the paper price. Exactly. This is because the paper price trades enormous volumes over the physical markets. Bob acknowledges that, and I think that's pretty cool. And he's right. Basically, what I've said for years is that the derivatives paper market is the tail of the dog. And what we've had going on for years and years and years is the tail wagging the dog being the physical markets, the real supply and demand fundamentals, the real organic market that is gold and silver buying and selling. Again, I've said that the paper derivatives market and the CME, the COMEX, who is the world's largest derivative company in the world, is the tail, all right? And for decades, especially with silver and somewhat with gold, the tail has been wagging the dog, all right? Again, not going to jump down that rabbit hole because I'll get sidetracked from Bob's article here. And Bob makes a very good point here, which kind of struck me a little bit. For many physical investors, this can be frustrating to understand, and that is true. I mean, I've been doing this a long time, trading physical metals. I'm not a derivative trader. I don't understand the market quite like Bob and a lot of these guys do. Again, I can see it. I can see the big picture. I can see the overall thing. And I have learned enough over the years to understand the details. But Bob says here, and again, it's very frustrating. And if you're new to the business and you don't take the time to learn about this stuff, derivatives, and how price discovery is done, and who the players are, why, who, where, what, and all that stuff, it is very frustrating. And most people don't want to deal with it. They want to invest in something and walk away from it. I don't blame silver and gold people for feeling that same way. But I do understand that many gold and silver stackers out there are interested in learning. The ones that aren't are the ones that probably are not buying gold. All right. But Bob says here as well, many precious metal dealers and promoters take advantage of this frustration by simply saying that precious metals is completely manipulated. I think that's a wrong statement by Bob. Bob acknowledges that there is manipulation. I think he does. Bob acknowledges is that the derivatives market is huge, and it's a huge paper market that really has not a lot to do with the physical gold and silver markets. It's a large freaking casino. But Bob's comment here that promoters take advantage of this by saying that precious metals market is completely manipulated. Let me focus on one word here. Bob did say completely manipulated, and this is not true. Gold and silver markets are not completely, silver markets too, are not completely manipulated. There is a point, again, where derivatives and these players will screw up and they'll break this market, and fundamentals will come back into play. Real supply and demand fundamentals come back in play. In my opinion, that's the case with silver when silver really does truly become scarce. And there's, when I say scarce, available silver, not above ground silver, available silver. But if you're going to talk to someone about investing, if you're a precious metal dealer and you're a promoter, and I don't know what a promoter is, but if you're a precious metal dealer and you think you're taking advantage of people by telling them that the market is manipulated, no way. If you got half a fucking brain, and I'm sorry, but if you got a half a fucking brain and you're selling precious metals, a person that is, got no scruples and just wants to sell someone is not going to bring up the fact that the market's manipulated. They're going to say the complete opposite. So I don't understand this comment by Bob that says that precious metal dealers will take advantage by saying precious metals is manipulated. Again, completely manipulated, all right? That's how Bob phrases it, completely. First off, it's not completely manipulated, and second, it is manipulated. And if you don't tell customers this, and if you don't do videos and you tell people that, yes, there is a big problem with big commercial shorts in the silver market, manipulating the price of silver for decades, and it's been going on forever with the CFTC, the regulating agencies, wink and a nod, not acknowledging it at the very least. Yes, it is manipulated, Bob. It absolutely is, and you are doing a disservice to your customers by not bringing that up. However, the service you can bring that up is the analogy that I made, is that when you understand who the play, you're sitting at that card table and you understand who the players are, how they cheat, what they're doing. You're still not going to win the hand because they're cheating, but you are at a distinct advantage. And this is when you tell someone that these markets are manipulated. This is what you explain to them. Again, I don't think Bob says, and as he says right here, this has no educational merit whatsoever, and eventually detracts more mainstream investors from investing in this asset class. All right. And I disagree. The only thing I really disagree with in this whole article is those comments right there. And Bob's no educational merit. Bob, it has an educational merit because that's complete disclosure. And you absolutely know for a fact that these markets are rigged. What are you going to, are you in denial? And again, Bob, I'm sorry. I love what you wrote here. It's just this paragraph here that bugs the shit out of me, okay? Are you in denial that JPM was fined $920 million, nearly $1 billion for spoofing precious metal markets? Bob, that's a fact. That's not made up. That's not promoters taking advantage by simply saying the market is completely manipulated. And I agree with you. It's not completely manipulated. Heavily manipulated, especially silver. Gold, not so much. That's a whole different rabbit hole. But to say that it has no educational merit, I disagree 100% with you, Bob, and detracts more mainstream investors from invest. I do agree with that. Okay, I do agree that it is going to distract some people that just don't want to wrap any thought about what they're buying. But those people are the lemons. Those people are the sheep. They're the ones that are let off the cliff anyway because they don't understand what they're buying. All right. But again, like the article by Bob, just can't stand this paragraph right here. I think it's completely off base. But again, Bob does say completely manipulated, and I agree with him. It is frustrating for new people, and it does detract some mainstream investors. But again, listen, it probably distracts the people that you don't want investing, the dumbasses, the ones that just throw money in the newest, bestest FOMO thing. All right? Okay. Kudos to Bob. Great article. Again, just have to disagree with that and wanted to kind of express myself on that because, again, I like reading his articles and other people's articles. The rest of this goes into derivative contracts and charts with, to me, and what the chart here shows a divergence between ETFs and the price of gold and silver. But again, this is stuff that Ted Butler has been talking about for years. And what I like about Ted Butler is that he actually is able to explain it. This is why I always tell you guys, you probably should, if you like silver and you don't mind spending $30, $40 a month, whatever it is, $30 a month, get Butler Research newsletter. It's really worth reading. Ted Butler is probably one of the few guys that truly understand how the silver market is manipulated. Sorry, Bob, it is. And who the players are and all that good stuff. And Ted Butler's made me a lot of money, even though I didn't discover him until recently, but I always knew I've been doing this for 4 decades. I've been doing this since 1977. So I always knew there were issues, but no one quite explained to me and really put it into words that I could understand like Ted Butler has. And he's absolutely correct. All right. Again, I'd like to thank Bob Coleman for a good article. Bob really does explain a lot of the stuff, explains the internal workings on how this stuff works. But, again, my feeling is sometimes you can't see the forest through the trees. But no less, kudos there. And where are we going from here? Well, not many places to go. I've got a little conversation going on with a couple guys out here on Twitter, which is kind of fun. I'm spending more time here when I can. Let's see, who has kind of notified me? Let's take a look. Oh, VBL has on target. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. BBL's Ghost, I love this. I shouldn't say love. I'm going to get accused of another man crush, but I do follow BBL here and read some of his stuff. Big fan of his stuff. And also Tom Lungo, too, is one of my favorites out here as well. All right, well, let me move into what I want to move into next. What I really meant to tell you guys is follow me here on X. I am out here. I have time to answer questions, and I'm trying to spend a little more time out here as well. And I do like the format. It's truly a free speech format. Kudos to Elon Musk for doing that, by the way. All right, let me get into something that I do better than all these guys out here. Well, I should say all of them, but and, that kind of got me a little bit thing too. Bob, after kind of dissing us precious metal dealers that talk about manipulation, here at the very bottom, you ask for institutions, high net worth investors that want to actual exposure to real precious metals, legally owned, held by them. Please reach out to me. Okay. Okay, Bob. Yeah, all right. Yeah, make sure you don't tell them about the manipulation of these markets because you might turn them off, Bob. All right, I'm sorry. I'm being a little rough on that, but being a little bit rough on the Bieber here. So, guys know what that means. It's a joke. All right, let me move into what I do well, which is product. I know I am a physical, wholesale, and retail buyer of precious metals for a long, long, long time. I am not an expert in derivatives. I'm not, and I admit that I always have. But here's what I do well. What are the best deals out there, folks? Premiums have been down so low for so long. I think we really are at a 5 and 6+ year low of precious metals. Premiums, that is, not prices, premiums. I mean, Silver Eagles, they're still relatively expensive, but Silver Eagles still the worst product to buy out there if you're buying silver at spot plus $4.75 or less per ounce. You can again, quantity, I'm talking about small quantities, spot plus $4.75. We have them for, and we can sell them for less than that in larger quantities. I think I can even beat Bob's price, so I'm sure I can. But here, let me move along there. If you're a large institution, of course, and small guys. But Silver Eagles are a terrible, terrible deal. What are the best deals in silver? Well, the best deals out there, and I'll give you the visual on that. Let me see here. And I had to look and make sure I was recording. I've done that before. I've done a 50-minute video and forgot to hit the record button. God, it was my best video ever. Yeah, it's easy to say that, isn't it? 100-ounce silver bars are the best deals out there at spot plus $1.50 or less. I've even seen some specials where I could have sold them at spot plus $1.10 or less. And again, that's small quantities. 100-ounce bars are the best deal out there. 100-ounce bars, though, 10s and let's see, 100s at, a spot plus $1.50. Okay, my apology on 100-ounce bars. 1-ounce rounds are spot plus $1.80 in small quantities. 10-ounce bars are spot plus $1.65 in small quantities. Kilo bars are spot plus $1.60 in small quantities. 100-ounce bars, a lot of guys are a little afraid to buy them. If you're buying them from a reputable source, don't worry about it, okay? And again, they're easy to test for guys that know what they're doing. And 100-ounce bars represent really a good deal, especially if you get them for $1.50, $1.10 over spot, $1.10 to $1.50 over spot. They are a good deal. However, I find that for guys that are smaller investors and guys that don't really buy 100-ounce bars, you've got to stick with 10s, kilos, and that kind of thing. But if you're buying, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 worth of silver or more, especially if you're buying large quantities of silver, into the 6-figure level, stick with 100-ounce bars. You don't need 10s and 1s, all right? Don't pay the premium for them. Stay away from 1,000-ounce bars, and I'll tell you why. Shipping is stupid on those things. You don't want to mess with 1,000-ounce bars, but stick with 100-ounce bars, okay? Price point is really good. And, a lot of people say, well, I can't use it for trade. I can't trade a 100-ounce bar like I could a 1-ounce silver bar around, So that's why I like the smaller increments. But you know what? For you folks out there that really believe you're going to be trading this stuff for food, it is highly, highly unlikely. First off, nobody knows how to test this stuff other than your local dealer, or unless you happen to know how to test it yourself. So you think that you're going to go down to the local market or to a local farmer's market, or your neighbor selling eggs from his chickens in the backyard and trade him a piece of silver for some eggs. No, it's never going to happen, folks. It's going to be just like the inflationary Germany, hyperinflationary Germany. You're going to take your silver and gold, you're going to go down, you're going to trade it to a silver and gold dealer, trade it for dollars, and at that time it was marks, and you're going to trade it for a wheelbarrow full of dollars so you can go buy your loaf of bread. You will still be using dollars. You're not trading this stuff. You will be not trading 10th-ounce gold eagles. You'll not be trading 1-ounce bars. Get over it. I will have a debate with any YouTube talking head or self-proclaimed expert that tells you otherwise. Open challenge to any of them, okay? I'm here. All right. So anyway, now that I get that out of the way, product prices are great, folks. As far as gold, Krugerrands. It's amazing. Krugerrands are so, I don't know why Krugerrands are so cheap, but I was advising buy gold bars for a while, but the gold bar price is like 77, retail or less, again, depending on the quantities you're buying. Damn Krugerrands are what? Krugerrands are, give me one second. Krugerrands are $70 over spot in small quantities, and I get them for you cheaper than that in larger quantities. But how the hell do you beat that? $70 over. You know, considering that gold bars are like almost $7 more. I like KRs more than I bars, and that's unusual for me to talk about a sovereign product being cheaper than generic bars and, you know, gold bars and stuff. Krugerrands are a great deal. Buy them if you can. Don't pay more than $70 for them. Gold Eagles. Gold Eagles have come down. So have the Buffaloes. I think, let me see, what is the price on Eagles right now? In small quantities, spot plus 103. That's cheap as Eagles have been for a while. I saw Eagles at one point about 2 years ago get up to spot plus 225, 250 on some websites. And by the way, if you're looking to buy gold, silver, and precious metals of any type, come to Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals. Yeah, I know, I'm doing my advertising now. I will beat Atmex, SD, and JM Bullion and the locals down here. And if you're looking to buy gold, silver, and platinum, and you're a large institutional buyer or a large entity, I can definitely get you a better price than most anyone out there when it comes to gold, silver, and platinum products, in quantity as well. And if you're a smaller investor and a smaller stacker and you're just buying a few ounces of silver, unfortunately, I don't have the means to ship that, but let me tell you, smaller investors, find yourself a good local shop. Absolutely the best thing you can possibly do. Hit your local good, your good local shops. Even you large institutional guys, large investors, I'd love to have you give me a call, but hey, check with your local guy first. And I know I'm giving some business away there, but never hurts to give good advice and do the right thing. It always comes back to you somehow. So again, if you're looking to buy gold, silver, and platinum, I'll beat Atmex, SDJ, and Bullion, and all the locals down here. I'll even beat Bob Coleman's price, doggone it. Bob, love you still, but yeah, I'll beat your price too. All right, let me not keep doing that. All right. So products out there, gold again, Krugerrand's the best deal. Eagles, not too bad. Maple Leafs, reasonable. I think Maple's right now 55, spot plus $85 or so. They haven't changed much. Best deal out there, KRs for sure. All right, where am I going from here? I think I'm going to go into answering questions from my last video, and let me do sort by newest comments first. And let me go there. Give me 1 second. Let's see here. I'm going to go to the bottom of the page. It's funny, I go to the newest comments, put it at the top of the page, and I end up going to the bottom of the page. Wow, I got a lot of comments here too. Let me answer as many as I can here. RZ Millen says, silver, what the F? I'm right, I'm betting my left. Not the silver break, it's all-time high within the next year. It's a powder keg. Couldn't argue with, but I have felt like that for the last 5 years. However, never underestimate the power of these big commercial manipulative crooks in the silver market. But again, I believe that they're running low on ammo. They are running. And what is ammo? Ammo is the actual physical supply, in my opinion. So I agree with you, sir. I think we're getting close to that point. First, thank you, Wilford Vasquez. I'm glad you're first. You're first in my book, as all you guys are. John Schroeder says, love your YouTube better. Thank you. Appreciate that, John. I really do. And again, I got the best commenters. You guys, I met a lot. Some of you, not a lot of you. I met a lot of my, not a lot. I have met a lot of viewers that have come by my store. Even a lot of folks that have vacation in Florida have gone about a little bit to come by and visit me. One of my most memorable was a guy, Hickcock45, that runs a gun channel. I'm a gun guy, who actually was like meeting my hero when he came into my store one time. So I have met a lot of my viewers, and again, I believe Hickcock45 is one of my viewers, and met him, which again was complete opposite to me. I'm a big fan of his. So, but I love all you guys. Thank you for watching, all of you. Great video. Thank you, Hager. Appreciate that. Blue skies, rocket trails for gold. Can't punch through the resistance. Let's see where it goes. I can't see that many more smackdowns. And again, as I said a while back ago, we're not going to see $20 silver unless the complete world collapses. Everything electronic collapses, derivatives collapse. Then you'll never buy silver at that price. But we've long done with $20 silver, and I sincerely believe we're long done with $1,700 and $1,800 gold, maybe sub $2,000 gold. A little early for me to say that, but I believe that we're getting to that point where 2,000 and up is the next level for sure. When it takes off like a rocket ship, I don't know, but it will. We will all have our oh shit mornings. If you don't hold gold before, yep, I agree 100%. Salty Dog. Mark Gotcho says, sounds like a manhole cover. Yeah, that was my big ATB 5-ounce America the Beautiful coin that I had last week that I spun. They sound like manhole covers. Guess who's buying Bitcoin or gold? Yes, the moneymakers, the rich men, and finally the poor turn a little proud of it. But this is all a game of rich people that change the world again. Well, basically money begets money. Money makes money, okay? That's true. Meanwhile, again, if you know how the game is played, you can be a winner too, sir. Brick's announcement. Thank you, Tim Gibson. I appreciate that. I believe I watched that earlier. Brother Gold will be knocked down again because they're going to raise rates again, and I disagree with that. I really do. Rates have nothing to do with the price of gold. There's some weird. Well, I mean that's what CNBC and all the Bloomberg and all these so-called experts in precious metals. Yeah, higher rates are going to knock the price. Bullshit. I've talked about it so many times I don't want to talk about it again. But no, that is higher rates are not going to change anything for precious metals. All right. Unless the rates are just a giveaway, and they're never going to give away money. They're going to just give away enough of it to cover what they need to, and it's never going to cover inflation. But again, I don't want to jump down that rabbit hole. Thanks for commenting. Really appreciate that, William. Hope everything is well. Many anticipation rate cuts. Again, don't watch CNBC. Don't watch Bloomberg. Don't listen to some of these so-called experts. As soon as they talk about rate cuts and the effect on gold, the only effect rate cuts have on gold is temporary when the big commercial banks go in and bang the price of gold when those announcements come out. That's their freaking spoofing. That's how they spoof, all right? Or manipulate these markets, or one of the manners they do it. Great stuff. I will be in Baltimore next week, folk, at the Baltimore Coin and Convention Coin Show. You can catch me there on Thursday. All right. I don't believe I'll be there on Friday. I'm just going to be there on Thursday. But catch me on Thursday. I'll be at the Baltimore Coin Show, Whitman Coin Show in downtown Baltimore at the Convention Center. Thank you. Appreciate that, Copper Bones. Silver line, like Mike Maloney said, gold will become hopium, meaning you will hope that you get some. That's true. That's a good statement by Mike Maloney. Don't listen to the videos. I've heard about them, but I like that statement. Sub 900 platinum, I had to get some when I was still picking up some silver. Spring break is nothing but a poor man's life. It's true, sir. I got to tell you, it's killing me. I'm getting too old for it. Let's see. No longer correlate. One is economic, the other is strategic, inflation adjusted. Interesting. I have to wrap my head around what you said there, but it sounds intelligent. Thank you, Mario Hostis. I was unsubscribed, couldn't find your channel for a long time. Hey, thank you, Wig. I was wondering what happened to you. How you doing? Joe McDonald, X freedom of speech, but watch what you say. You may hurt your SCS. I'm embarrassed to say I don't know what an SCS is. Oh my gosh, look at that. Beautiful Corvette outside my store right now. Oh, convertible, two-seater. What is that? Looks like, anyway, sorry about that. It's easy for me to get my attention distracted. Beautiful women, beautiful cars, and beautiful weather. Excellent information. I'm doing business with. Thank you. Appreciate it. Glorian Davis, that is such a nice testament to my business. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Swiss Prepper says silver is industrial, not currency like metal. If global recession comes, we'll lose. No, silver is also money. Think about it. What is a silver eagle? What is a silver maple leaf? It is money. So technically and really, realistically speaking, silver is money too. Has been for thousands of years. So I would disagree with that. Silver also has the benefit of not only being money, but it also has the benefit of having industrial uses, unlike gold. So yes and no. And thanks, Swiss Prepper. I really appreciate that. Matthew, Michael Matthews, a sip of coffee here for you. Joe, thanks. Appreciate that. This time is different, but no pullback. Yeah, it's interesting. Let's see what happens, Kevin. Christian Napolitano, where have I been? Missing the updates. Sometimes I get unsubscribed from channels I watch. For some reason, they don't pop up. You got to just manually look for me sometimes. So sorry about that. I have been doing videos only weekly as well. Again, I kept promising I'd try to get back to that 5-day-a-week schedule, but I don't have enough time in the day, man. I'm just trying to get as many as I can done. So thank you, Christine Napolitano. Appreciate that. Dr. Dragon Kick says, Big Four accountant here. Love your content. However, I don't know where this rumor keeps coming. I've heard about YouTube. For the record, Big Four IPM audit Fort Knox. Yeah, I know. It's interesting, but if you read more into it, Dragon Kick, the Fort Knox audit, I think the last one that was done was 2008, and what they did is they re-audited gold that they had audited. Because you brought this up, honestly, I went and did a little research, and the audits are a little bit iffy. The audits are really a little bit... and the details on them are very slim, Dr. Drag. You are correct. There's been audits done, but read more into it. I did, just based on what you told me here, and I think you're going to find it very interesting. And I know it is reported here, but dig into the details, Dr. Dragon Kick. I think you're going to be really surprised like I was. And you actually started this, so thanks. Most Bitcoin, and thanks for watching too. Most Bitcoin is out of the hands. It's in the first out of the real estate on front run Wall Street. Yeah, unfortunately, once the big institutions get involved with the cryptos and Bitcoin, it's over. It's over for the small folks, and that's where we are, folks. I really believe that. But again, I am not an expert. I won't claim to be. Philip, I hope to see you in the next Baltimore show. What do I think the silver ratio should be? Naturally, I think it should be probably 25 to 1, 30 to 1. That's where I think it should be, or less, realistically speaking. But I think that that's what I think, actually, it should be. As far as the price goes now, geologically, I think it's like 13 to 1, 15 to 1 or something like that. But I think really money-wise, it should be 30 to 1 or less. That's my opinion. The CME went after hunts by slandering with talks behind their backs. Yes, that's true, Russell King. CME also went after the hunts by having their loans called. That's why they had to exit all their positions. And that's why the market went straight down, because the Hunt brothers got screwed by the commercial bankers and CME. All right? It did. The Hunt brothers did everything by the book, and when they were starting to win, the casino shut them down and changed the rules. That's what happened. Exactly what happened. Russell King, I said this in 1970, proves that you don't need, it's true. Thanks, Russell. And the price of gold has never changed. Your money is just losing value. Bravo, sir. Couldn't agree more. By the way, folks, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I really appreciate that. I'm going to end today's video with saying, hey, catch me on Twitter, or X, they call it now. Catch me on Rumble as well. If you don't catch me on the YT channel that you're watching right now, it's probably because I said something they don't like, or, again, they drop your subscription button. But you know what? You can catch me out here. Hopefully, my editor for these videos, he doesn't do much editing work, as you can tell, too. Just puts a front and a back on it. He lets me screw up in the middle all I want. But you can catch me here as well. And as I always say, and I'm going to just go back to saying this, folks, because it's the most powerful thing that I can tell people and remind you every day, is think for yourself and question authority. And always question what you believe yourself, too, because you may come across, you may be an epiphany. You may discover that, no, Santa Claus is not real. Anyway, thanks, folks. Have yourself a wonderful day. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals, serving South Florida since 1977, been in this location since 1995. If you're looking to buy gold, silver, and platinum of any type, I will beat APMEX, SDJM, the big 800-pound gorillas online. I'll also beat the local dealers down here and other people as well, even for those large institutional buyers. If you're looking to buy large amounts of gold and silver, despite the size of my store, despite the size of me, I can accommodate you and probably beat the hell out of a lot of people's prices. Hey, thanks again for watching, folks. I'm off to my little race that I'm going to do tomorrow, and that's it, man. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.